few weeks ago, I made this little journal, and I said at the time that it was kind of a prototype, a trifold. It's just a small journal with a few pages in it. And I said I was making it sort of as a prototype for a fall gratitude journal. And I have finally gotten around to finishing my fall gratitude journal, and that's what I'm going to show you today. And this is also a trifold made out of a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And what I did is I folded up the bottom to make a pocket across the whole sheet. But I'll show you that as I go along. On the front, I have this tie. It's seam binding is what it is, that I've crunched up for a closure. And I used a large eyelet to reinforce the hole that I punched there. This I have attached with a brad so that it's movable. And I have pockets here that I have little tickets tucked into there. And this is just decorative, really. I mean, I suppose you could turn it around and write on the back of it, write something secret back there, but really it's not for writing on. And that's just a Tim Holtz, a person there. This is, I'm going to tell you what I did wrong in a little bit, but it's very bulky. And I didn't really intend for it to be quite so bulky, but it turned out that way. I have put charms on the thread that I tied the signatures with. It's a little deer and a maple leaf on that. I'm just going to open this up so you can see what I've done on the inside first, and then I'll go back to that other page. This page, this is the pocket I have, and I made my pocket, I turned it up to be 3.5 inches. You could do more or less depending on how tall you want your journal to be, or you could cut off a strip and just have like a 2-inch pocket across there. It's really up to how you want to do it. I also attached this little piece with a brad so that it's movable, just for a little extra fun for the book. Really, it doesn't do anything. It's not hiding a word behind it or anything like that. I did think about doing that, but it didn't really rotate in a way that made it possible to do that. So it can either sit straight or it can just be kind of at an angle. I kind of liked it at an angle. And this leaf is glued on as a pocket, and I first had put this label shape behind there, just had it in the slot here, kind of a peekaboo shape there. And then I decided I would add some tickets. These are Tim Holtz tickets, and I just stamped them on some scrap paper and put those in there as well. Then in this pocket I have, this is the embossing I did with the stencil. That video was a week ago or so. I'll link it below. But I stenciled with the ink and I had the stencil taped down, and then I ran it through my die machine, and it has a little bit of, not so much you can see, but you can feel it when you touch it. And on the back, it's just this memo card that I have a bunch from my uncle's IBM days. And it just fits in that pocket. Then in this pocket, this is part of the signature here. I put 3 pages in, and with pockets and everything, it really bulked it up. But I folded this back and made a corner pocket out of it. And then this page is a wraparound, just a writing space that I wrapped around the page and slid into the pocket there. And then these pieces, this is a piece of some handmade paper I did one time with some threads in it. I kind of got carried away with my threads, but anyway, I still like it. And then this is just it was a magazine ad actually for Southern Living Tours, I think it was. And I put some paper on the back, and I did some stamping on the back with some little banner stamps that I have. Okay, that goes here. I tied a piece of seam lace to this paper clip, and I only had, except for one big one I have, gold paper clips, but I used this marker, which is a Decor Color Premium gold marker. I think it's oil-based. It smells like it is. And I used it and colored these paper clips that I wanted to use in this book. And I don't know how well they're going to hold up. So it looks like the back is already not, maybe I didn't do the back. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted the gold paper clips. So that's how I made them for this little journal. And we'll just have to wait and see how it holds up over time. Okay, so this is just a card that I see. that paper clip, the gold came off on my paper, but I just used a stamp, and it's a lace stamp, and I just put that on there and stamped amazing on there. And then on this page, I made this scripture card with a stamp I have that says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And that's Jeremiah 29:11. I think I may write that on the back, write the rest of the scripture, because that's the important part of it, is God is taking care of us. I just did a little bit of collaging on here, and then used some stickers I had from a pack from Dollar Tree. And I have that here. And I like the way this page turned out. This is another sticker from Dollar Tree that's leaves. It's a dimensional sticker, and a little doily that I did with some dies I have. A couple of strips of fabric, and then I had just some thread from something that was kind of wadded up, and I put it on there, and it's kind of coming down here. I glued it where it stayed put. This is a guest check that I did some dry decoupage on and some stamping, and there's space on the back to write. This card is one out of a Monopoly game, and this is a scripture card that my friend gave me a set of, and it says, "For the Lord is a sun and a shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those whose walk is blameless." And so I just put that in this pocket. I folded this over, so this is an uptuck here, and I have these little things stuck up under there. This is just a round label die that I have, and I put some of this gold foil flakes on there. These, and I have a die cut for an acorn, and slide those up there. The acorn stamp and these leaves are in the same die cut set, and I think it says exactly. In this pocket, I have a Trivial Pursuit card and a $500 Monopoly money, because the gold matches. And this is one of those flashcards that I was showing how to emboss it and sand it. So it is in this pocket. And it can either go behind that paper clip or just in the pocket. I think I'll just leave it in the pocket because it's pretty tight. This is another one of those that I did, the one in just a die cut oak leaf. And this is another stencil that I did. This is another paper clip that I painted with the gold paint. And then this is just a paint chip that I made a little tag out of. And that butterfly and this butterfly came from this. This is from Dollar Tree. See if I can put it in so you can see what's left. They're decals to go on the wall, but they stick pretty well to paper. They don't come up. And they're a little bit translucent. You can see that 6 under there. So I thought that was fun. Some of them are really big. I don't know how useful it would be. You'd have to have a bigger journal, I guess, to put one of those on. But some of the rest of them would be fun. And these little ones, and it was $1.25 for that. And this was back over here in this pocket. Okay. And this, I put the lace on here, and I had it as a side tuck. And it ended up needing a paper clip to hold things in place. So that's why it has the paper clip there. And I just glued that down to one of those IBM punch cards that hadn't been punched. Scrapbooking paper, and then I used that gold paint pen to put gold there. And did a little bit of, this is potato bag mesh that I did a little bit of stenciling up there with it, and some washi tape there. And these little things, they're place cards, and they were on sale after fall was over for 39 cents, which was 10% of their original price, which, I thought I can use those. And it makes a nice little writing space there. And it's pretty. It's nice in the book. Just put that there. And then on this page, I made an uptuck here. I made this sticker using one layer of this napkin that has these leaves on it. I use this carpet tape, which is double-sided, to make that sticker. And it has you probably can see it better on that than you can see it here. But it's got this design in the tape itself, and it showed through the napkin, which was fine with me. I think it looks kind of cool to have that. But anyway, that's how I did it. I laid the napkin down, I put the tape on top of it, and then ran it through my die machine and cut the label shape. And then when I got ready to use it, I peeled off the other side and actually glued it to this tab, which is made out of a paint chip. And it's stuck down, and then I just glued a little bit more on there to hold it in place. And then I have a few tags and this scripture card that says each of us will be a blessing to the other, Romans 1:12. And this one I extended by moving my die down to make it longer so that it would be a little different from the other one. And I just put those in that. And then this ticket, I was adding some tickets, and I just decided to stick this ticket behind here in that. And on this page, this was the experiment I did and showed in the video about the Big Shot machine. I'll put a link to that in the description. But I decided I liked it. I didn't add anything to the back. It probably would be better to have some paper on there for writing. But I thought this book was already getting so thick, I just decided to use it as is. And this is another little Tim Holtz guy. I thought he looked cute sitting there on the leaf and things. And then this pocket I added with some vellum and put a die cut leaf in there and glued the little boys to the front. I don't know how well that stem is going to hold up there. But what I was going to say is on the pockets, I turned it up and I had the pockets going here. And I decided I wanted this one to be on this side and have a pocket on this panel. So I cut it here and turned it to the back and glued it down. And then I decided I needed some gussets, and I'd already scored the folds. So I went back and scored the folds some more. I still didn't have enough space for it to fold well, so I went back yet again, even after I had these in, the pages in, and I scored it again. So to make a long story short, if you're going to do this, I'd suggest allowing about 3/8 to a half an inch for spines in these little folders if you're going to have even 6 pages with pockets and inserts like I have here, which is, I don't know how much that's almost an inch of stuff. So even a little more space would probably be good. But anyway, and then back here in this pocket, I have a ticket and a couple of, this is a tag afternoon tea. It says it's paint chips, but I embossed that one and sanded it. And then this one, I just used the words on it and put that in this pocket. And then the back panel is plain. It doesn't have anything on it, but I have these little charms that I added. When I decided how I was going to do a closure on this, I had already decided I wanted this little boy over here. And everything I was thinking about tying around, I thought it would go across his face, and I didn't want that. I decided to attach my seam binding by putting it through, punched 2 holes and fit it through those holes to come out here so that I could go this way, and then just run one of the ends through the eyelet and tie it there. And that's working out pretty well, I think. Like that. I hope you liked my little fall gratitude journal. I think it has enough space in it for writing for a number of days. Maybe not if you write a whole lot about anything, but enough to remember the holidays, maybe, or even just your activities around Thanksgiving. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.